send off. We need to look at how we support people that are suffering. Now, on day one of the riots, Elsie's mum put out a statement and said, stop doing this. Don't do this in my daughter's name. Don't allow this hatred. Don't destroy our community. And the people, the good people of Southport, came out of their houses and started putting together the damage. Men came from window companies and said, let me replace all this glass for free. Men from bricklaying companies come and fix paths. There was people that came out and closed down the shops so they could come and help. Yeah, that's the spirit of community. That is what we need to see. We need to see people rallying together in order to make things better. Meanwhile, then it starts spreading out across other cities. Police stations being set on fire. Mosques are being set on fire. What does this do? Apart from allow hate to continue to capture our nation and spread out. And then eventually when you attack a community enough, they will do something back. And then we get to shout Reform UK again, even though we're the ones causing the hate right now. A man with nearby Crosby was stabbed randomly. Literally, there was a man walking down the street the other day, and because of the colour of his skin, they filmed themselves punching him in the face. Tell me how that makes sense. Like, how does this make sense? That's why literally the riots should not be filmed and put all over social media, because it informs other brats and twats to actually that it's going on to come out of the houses to rise up. It also glamorizes and glorifies what they're doing. What we should be doing, and why I've shut it down on my Discord and I will not fucking show it here or talk about the writing in particular, is because it encourages it and it feeds it. What we should be doing is allowing them to have fuck all impact, shutting it down, social media blackout, and allow the police to deal with it on a smaller level. There was someone showing the riots on here yesterday, and they had 14,000 people in the room, and everyone's like literally putting the England flag up. What? It's your fucking English bastards that are out on the street doing this. Most of them have probably got tattoos saying Made in Britain and barcodes on the back of their fucking head. That's who's fucking doing this. So if you want to reform UK to get all the shit out, get those fucking bastards out there, the ones with the rocks in their hands and the knives in their hands, running around the streets thinking they're doing something good, when actually what they're doing is embarrassing. They're fucking ruining the community. They're setting fire to shit. How are you making things better? If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the fucking problem, right? And if you're an absolute fucking animal and you don't even respect the place where we live and the country we have, then how are you going to tell other people to get the fuck out? The hard-working ones, the people that add into society? You're the fucking problem. Go and set fire to your own fucking house because you live there and you're the fucking piece of shit. I don't understand it at all. There's not one person who I saw in one of the videos I watched yesterday about the writing where I thought, oh, he looks like he's got a brain cell. Perhaps he could tell us why he's doing this. Literally, oh, there's the police, like shouting the P word and the N word. And I literally thought, oh my God, I hope you're not raising children in your household. It's fucking disgusting. I took my kids to the fair the other night and to the carnival, and the whole time, and I'm hyper alert that something's going to kick off. And I'm hyper thinking, if anyone wants to do something, set fire to it, they could do it where all these children are because they want to have an impact. And I just cut it short. I'm just like, we need to go home. And I've avoided doing much this week for that particular thing because I don't want my kids to see hatred. I don't want my kids to be raised in hatred. I don't want their answers to anything to be, let's set fire to something, let's kill someone, let's destroy someone. Do you know what I mean? I would not have my children show any kind of racist behaviour. I constantly educate them on stuff like this. So how do we then watch full-grown adults destroying where we live for what? And then people come in here and go, oh, Shelley, I can understand that. They went and sat in a curry house. Oh, fuck's sake. You know, people, these are mindless wits, man. Mindless twits, man. Mindless people. Thank you, Heidi. Literally, it's mindless people. Do you know, as soon as this happened, before anything had been put out, the one question, oh, Heidi, thank you so much. The one question I had on my video about the fact there'd been an initial event in Southport was he Muslim? Was he Muslim? Was he Muslim? Was he Muslim? We didn't even know the colour of his skin at that point. We knew nothing. And it's like, why are you literally trying to take a tragedy and instantly weaponize it against the Muslim community? Like, you need him to be a Muslim so bad. You need him to fit in with what you see to be the problem in this country. And that's the problem. That is the problem. Like, the fact that your first response to something so brutal is, what religion was he? It fucking blows my mind. It blows my mind that there's still people out there that think this is okay. It's just, it's madness. And whenever I say factual things like, well, Dub Lane happened and that was a white Scottish man attacking Scottish children, people don't want to hear that. When I say, well, when Chris Watts did what he did, we didn't fucking all rally up and attack every middle-aged white American male. We didn't say, oh, that's so fucking brutal and so disgusting that all of you are the problem. We simply said Chris Watts is a fuckwit. And that's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen. How are you literally... Thanks, Jay. Even when I found out it was a 17-year-old black boy whose parents were from Rwanda, he was born here. And even if he was born in Rwanda, it's not the fucking country. It's one person from the country. And then someone in the chat the other day was saying, madness. Oh, just because he was born in Cardiff doesn't make him Welsh. Oh, thank you, Chili. Send him my love. And I was like, how does him not being born in Wales make him Welsh? Exactly, Kim. And Grumpy, who came up a minute ago, was absolutely right. So if you remember Daniel Arjon, the guy, the young boy who was walking to his private school in London, when a swordman come up and almost beheaded him in the streets when he had his headphones on listening to rap music, killed him in the most brutal way, blood all over the streets, and then attacked several other people in their own houses with a blade. No one fucking rallied up. No one actually marched the streets. No one said anything. Because we lost a young black male and he's a throwaway member of society, right? So no one says fuck all. I covered Daniel's case several times, even made a video because the son had stopped calling him by his name and started calling him Sword Boy when he literally died by sword. He was stabbed in the chest and in the face. He was a really good kid, a kid with so much promise, was at private school, top of his class, educated, really good friend, loved football, and we lost all that by calling him Sword Boy. Like really? He was feet away from his front door and he didn't hear him coming because he has his headphones on, happily walking to school. And this was a white immigrant that did this, and no one started shouting, send him back to his own fucking country. No one asked what his religion was. And Daniel got lost in the whole thing. And we talked about it for a couple of days and then it went away. But nobody rioted. Nobody rioted. Nobody protested. And that's what Grumpy was saying. It's actually a really fucking good point. You know, it's hard because we are angry and we're frustrated as a society. 100% we are. But it has to be about responding to hate with love and responding to hate with community and pushing for difference. Now, sometimes, and in my opinion, we will find out in this case, this boy who has carried out this absolutely horrific attack on our children, I believe it will somehow come back to him wanting to be infamous. He's purposely done the same as Thomas Hamilton did in Dunblane, and he's gone after the people that will cause the absolute most shock factor and make the biggest impact. Okay? So him seeing these riots and all of this madness is feeding into exactly what he wants. He wanted to cause an impact in the UK, and as he sat, the smug little bastard behind bars, the world is burning outside. And that little fuck has managed to take away more from us than just that initial thing. And the people out there rioting and looting are exactly the people that are helping weaponize the rest of his plan. And they need to understand that on a deeper level. Now, he literally was in the dock the other day. He was charged for several attempted murders and 3 murders. And as he walked past the press, he smiled. Because he got what he wanted. He caused tragedy. he caused destruction, disruption, and pain to the whole of the UK. Let's not let him do any more. Let's not allow him to cause our children's schools, our children's mosques, our children's churches to burn to the ground. Let's not allow him to bring our country to its knees. Let's rally up as people and support these families, support Southport, surround them with love, and start looking on how we change this. Let's wait to hear through the court system exactly why that smarmy little fuck did what he did. See if there's any red flags there, see what we can learn from it, and let's hold him to the full account of the law. And let's hope every single day that he absolutely suffers for the rest of his life. If they give me the option, I'd quite happily dunk him in acid, honestly. I have no sympathy for this boy at all. None. I hate him. Truly hate him. And there's some things I won't even say on here, but when I picture the scene that day, and I picture the children and the noise and the brutality, and I picture that even after he caused that, he kept going, I want nothing nice for this person. You couldn't tell me anything. Mental health, drugs, bullying, anything in the world that he has been through that will ever make me okay with this. I don't even give a fuck if he was schizophrenic, if I'm going to be honest with you. I don't give a fuck. Because there would be a certain point when you burst into that room and those kids started screaming and you'd already hurt one, where it fed you to keep going. You premeditated it, you went exactly to this event, and in your head you would have known they're at a dance class, they're just dancing to music, and you wanted to fucking hurt them, right? I don't give a fuck if he's R-worded in prison, to be fair. I don't care what happens to him, I really don't. I have nothing in my heart, and I'm sorry if that offends anyone, but I've got nothing in my heart but pure hatred, and I want him to suffer. But it is time, right, that we start putting accountability on the people causing these crimes. And when we attack a whole community, it dilutes that hatred onto people that don't even deserve it, as a real knock-on effect. And he is in the middle. And the hatred is spread out further. He gets less. And he almost becomes just a part of the background noise. So what we're doing is wrong. Go to the place you know he's being held. Set fire to that. Okay, I'll help you. But don't literally do this. It makes no sense. Somebody must know where he's being held. Go and do what you got to do. Go and do what you got to do. I will back you. I was going to say I'll pay for the petrol, but I'll probably get in trouble. I will do whatever I'll back you on that. As long as there's no one else in there and you're not hurting anyone else, I don't give a fuck. But do not hurt everyone else. Do not hurt everyone else, because this is madness. And all the newspapers now are full of riots, protests, this, that, this. And these children are getting lost. And these children get lost because those thick idiots out on the street with bricks in their hands. That's the absolute truth. And I don't expect everyone to agree with me. And I imagine there's still 4 or 5 people in the comments thinking, oh God, she doesn't want to reform the UK. I want to reform the UK. I want to reform the UK to a better place and the criminal justice system that's stronger. I do not want to just send everyone back to their own country. I'd like to literally, I think a multicultural society is much better. It's much better for our children. It's much better for the places we live. I think what we need to ask for is, when we're allowing people into this country through immigration, that we accept people with no criminal records. We accept people that have a good kind of ethos for life going forward. I think there needs to be stricter things in place. I think what we're doing at the moment is we're letting in a couple of bad ones all the time, and then people reflect and they blame the whole system of immigration. Immigration on its head is a really good idea. I want my children to be exposed to different cultures, different people, different ways of life. I want them to know people on to know people differently. My 11-year-old, her best friend is Polish. He was born in Poland. His family are Polish, hard-working family. She loves the bones of him. They're literally like, he's the male version of her. I imagine one day she'll probably marry him. They are literally that in sync with each other. She giggles when she talks to him on the phone. He teaches her Polish words. He literally, they were absolutely love being around each other. And Not one time have I thought to myself, well, can you not find an English friend instead? This boy feeds her soul, and literally he understands her. And I love that. Literally, my stepmother is German. She came over from Germany. She's a pain in the ass, but she's not because she's German. It's because she's a knob. Literally, like, I just don't understand. I don't understand how we are at a stage where we actually think that this is okay. Do you know what I mean? It's I get people leave comments on my videos all the time, and I think, God bless your children, man, because if that is the way you think and they are living in your house under your rules, they've got no fucking chance. Somebody actually once put on my video, I would rather my daughter married a rapist than a black man. That is how some people in the UK are raising their children. Like, how the fuck have you... And I made a whole video about it because I thought I'm going to reply to that in a video. And I was like, what is actually wrong with you? Like, you would rather your daughter married someone who may rape her than a black man who loves her. Are you off your fucking head? Dan, I literally, if you go back from my videos, I actually made a video in response to his comment. And I was literally like, what? Like, you were absolutely off your head. And then he said, well, if you allow, and I literally responded and just kind of said, like, I hope my daughter marries a man that absolutely, or a man or woman, to be fair, who absolutely adores her, who loves her and protects her and gives her a safe home. And they were like, well, if she marries a black man, he's probably going to be one anyway. A rapist. And I was just like, I don't know what kind of homes you have to be raised in to exhibit that much hatred. I don't get it. Like, my dad's best friend at school, and his best friend till the day he died, was a man called Oliver. I won't say his last name actually. He was called Oliver, but he was Asian, and my nan was, so racism in that moment was greater because a black perpetrator had been named for this Southport thing, and it has a knock-on effect. Like, we will never understand that. Like, I can say to people like, oh, I will stand with you, I literally stand against racism, but I'll never know what it's like. I'll never be able to even consider the fact of how every little thing in your life will be impacted by the way people look at you and expect you to be and judge you because of the way you were born. And that's the bottom line. My daughter's best friend is Chinese. She hates people asking her to say Chinese things. Yeah, I can imagine it'd be annoying. I'm an annoying person, because literally if I hear like the Welsh accent, I'll be like, say I'm down in the valleys. And if I literally, you know, an Irish person, I'll say 230, 230. So I can be annoying like that. Racism's at its peak in the UK now. I think racism is worse because we don't acknowledge it to be there. I've actually seen people say racism isn't a thing anymore. And I'm like, I am blue. That it doesn't exist. And it's like, oh, because we're not enslaving them anymore and beating people for being black, like, it doesn't exist. Like, are you sure? Like, it's stepped up. And in some ways it's worse, right? Because in some ways things have moved forward that much that you should be able to expect equality, but you'll never have equality. And that's fucking scary. It's scary that we can address it and go, okay, everybody's the same, but do fuck all about it. And people who go in boxes and they go up on a live and they go, I can't be racist because the man at number 14 where I live, his ex-wife's cousin actually married a Jamaican woman. So I'm not racist. Like, I never called her the N-word or anything, so I'm not racist. Or similar things like that. And it's like, well, you know, black people can be racist as well. And they can be racist against their own colour. They can be racist against different communities. And nobody is ruled out depending on where you stand in life or who you hang around with. I can't see it. That's it, Jane. People say things like silly, like, oh, I've been to the library today and I checked some books out with a black library lady. So I didn't attack her, so I'm not racist. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people, the main problem is not even the racist people so much. which obviously they're a problem. It's the people that don't do fuck all. So they go, well, I'm white. It's not really my problem. Like, I don't need to say anything. I don't need to do anything here. It's not my problem. It's not my concern. It's everybody's concern. It's everyone's concern, because unless we make life better, then it will only get worse for our children. And I, particularly, one of the things that really, really bothers me is some nights I lay there and I feel guilty for having children, because I look at them when they're sleeping and I think, I can't fucking protect you. I can't protect you from this world. This world is so full of hatred right now. I will never be able to keep you safe. And as a mother, that fucking kills me, because the first thing I said to all three of my girls, the first moment I held them in my arms, I said, I will never let anyone hurt you. And I failed. I failed because not only did I allow their father to be the first man that would break their heart, and that has happened, and it kills me every fucking day that they don't know what it's like to have a father who loves them and cares for them or even bothers with them. But now society wants to hurt them too. And what can I do? What can I do when I can't take them anywhere? I can't put them in a school club. I can't even guarantee they'll be safe at school. I know it's him, but I did allow it because I stayed for a long time, and that's my burden to carry. And I'm not looking for anyone to tell me it's not my fault. I had children with a man who I knew was never going to be the most stable, and I have allowed him to break their hearts again and again by constantly allowing him to try again and see them and inviting him back into their life, because I always thought, growing up as a kid with no dad, that having a dad was better than not. And it's taken me a long time to cut him off and be like, actually, no, he never hurt my kids like that. No, the only way my ex has hurt my children is being inconsistent. Okay. The only way he's hurt my children is by not showing up for them. And the only way he's hurt them is by putting himself before them every single time. My ex was honestly a very good dad when we were together. But the moment that we broke up, it was like, if I can't be with you, then I don't want any of it. But he was, because of that, and because of the thing of him not being around for them, my girls learned what it was like to have a broken heart far too early, and by the man they call dad. And that should never happen. I see men all the time who are actually really good dads who take their daughters on date night and show them how she should be treated and do all these things. They will never have that from their own dad. They will never have that relationship. Taylor at her last day of school, when she was doing her leaving assembly, she looked at me and smiled, and then I could see her searching the room for him. And we had invited him. He didn't come, obviously. But I watch her eyes and I'm just literally crying inside. I'm just thinking, you fucking ass. Why couldn't you just turn up for just one fucking thing? Why is she even on her last day of school aware that you didn't fucking care enough to come? Do you know what I mean? It destroys me in that way. Because I can only be mum. I can't be mum and dad. And I just wish I could get him to see the girls through my eyes, because we have the best kids together, right? And he's really lucky that he can be who he is and have these little girls who are a reflection. They're half me and half him, and they are amazing kids. And perhaps he would be better and want to be better if he'd spent more time with them. But unfortunately, that's not his priority. No, he doesn't. I literally, I cut him off completely because I'm not having to mess with their heads anymore. And he would see them for 1 week, then not turn up for 2 weeks. Sometimes he'd phone every night, then he'd stop again. And it's just too confusing for them. And it literally, my little one's 5 and she adores him, man. She loves him. And to this very day, I could, if my phone rings or the door knocks, right, and he's never been here, it's the safe house, obviously, she says straight away, that's my dad. That's my dad. And they are really happy, Michelle, and we have a much more stable household, but it doesn't matter how stable the household is. It doesn't matter how much I love them. It doesn't matter how much things are better. They don't have their dad. No matter how good I am, he's not there. And I understand, because I was raised by an awesome mum. I had an awesome stepdad, but my dad left at 6, moved to Germany. I didn't see him again until I was 15. And the first time I saw him was when my mum called him to the hospital because I just tried to unalive because I missed him and I literally wanted my dad. So there was nothing in the way my mum was raising me that made it okay that he wasn't there, because I had this bit of me that was missing. And when you have a parent that is supposed to love you and doesn't love you in the right way, you can't love yourself and you can't ever accept love from anyone else, because if your dad doesn't want you, then who is going to? And I can't minimize what my children feel by saying, oh no, it's fine because I love them and I'm here and I make them happy, we've got a stable home, because I can never replace what he should be giving them. And I could, just like my mum couldn't for my dad. Every time something would go wrong when I was a kid, I got in trouble, I was told off, whatever it was, I would go and sit in my room and I'd cry for my dad. I would cry for the fact he was missing. I cried because I needed him. So it's one of those things. I don't even know how we got onto this. I don't know how I'm here crying about this. But I just don't minimize the fact that because I am a great mum and I give them everything. Thanks, Michelle. I don't minimize the fact that they are still missing out on that. And that's why I've given them so many chances. That's why I've literally always done whatever I can to just move forward and always be forgiven and always be like, okay, because I just want them to be happy. And me hating him is not gonna help anything. I don't hate him, actually. I don't hate my ex. I've never hated my ex. I don't have any hatred in my heart for him because I have my little girls from him, and every time I look at them I see him. So I can't, if I hated my ex, I'd hate part of my children. I hope that makes sense. I don't even hate him for the DV. I don't hate him for any of those things. Thanks, Michelle. I hate that I stayed so long and tried to fix him at the cost of my own soul. That's what I hate. But I don't hate him. I want him to have a good life. I want him to have all the things it takes to make him want to be a good father. But I don't hate him. People are always really shocked when they're like, well, you should hate him. You're in a refuge because of it, blah, blah, blah. He wasn't like that all the time. He was my best friend. He was my only family member for a long time. And he is part of my children. Forgiveness is freedom. Yeah, 100%. Like, I never for one day thought I fucking hate you, ever. I'm so sorry, Glenn. Yeah, I did walk away. I literally, people always say to me like, oh, what did your children see? Like, my children saw nothing, okay? I always protected my children from any of that. They may have seen the after effect. I can't lie about that. Obviously, I was hurt at times, but they never saw anything and they were never hurt, okay? But at the same time, we had 80% of the time a lovely life, like a really good life. Like, I spent 14 years with this man. I loved him for 14 years. We had some really good times. But I couldn't stay anymore through the bad times and the breakdowns and the toxic behaviour. And so I couldn't do that anymore. And I'm glad I've left, but I still don't hate him. And I will never hate him. Never. Do you know what I mean? For every part he played, I allowed him to play. And people say it's not my fault, but it 100% is my fault. It's my fault that I didn't do better for myself. Yeah, I hated his behaviour, but I don't hate him. It was harder to leave back in the day. I mean, back 30 odd years ago, domestic violence wasn't a crime. Domestic violence was like, it happened behind closed doors. No one really spoke about it. It wasn't done like that. But I always say to women, you should leave, but you should leave safely. And I want to just say to anyone in here who is going through domestic violence, never just think, oh, today I'm just going to go and announce I'm leaving and take everything, because breakup violence is when it's the most dangerous time for you. People who will not accept that control is going to break and that you can just leave. Always leave safely, put a plan in place, start putting away some secret like documents that you may need, like passports or ID. Try and save a little bit of money if you can, but don't put yourself in danger with that. I saw another live where people are going, well, you need to take photos of all the abuse. I'm like, no, you don't. Do not take pictures of the abuse if you are going to put yourself in danger that he may have find that. Your life and your children's life is the only thing that matters. So doing it safely and in the right way is 100% the only thing you need to do. I can tell you now, I do not have one picture of me hurt, abused, none of that stuff, because it was never my focus of let me actually take a picture of this so one day my children can see this. Like, I just wanted to get them out. I wanted to get them away from it. It sounds really bizarre, but my children, the two younger ones, think that we live here because me and him broke up. They don't know they're in here because of domestic violence. They don't know they're in here because it was that bad that I couldn't stay. They don't know about any of the most serious times. Like, I don't want my children to know that. It's exactly the same why I don't make videos about him, why I don't talk live about specific instances. Because as much as that would educate, my children don't need the world to know that about their father, part of them. Like, I don't have any revenge inside of me. I have no need for it. I don't need to prove how serious or unserious it was to anyone. I need to keep my children as safe as I can and as unscarred from what I've been through as possible. That is the only goal. Yeah, Mandy, it's a different thing, isn't it? Like, it's for me, my children have so much pain already. Thank you, Ella, from their dad. So, and that's from him being an absent father. So I don't need to add my trauma and pain onto what they feel about him already. I don't also want it to ruin, love you, Ella, I don't want it to ruin the whole shape of their dad. Like, he is so many things, right? And my abuser is one small part of that. He is absolutely, in other ways, a good person, a broken person. He's got his own kind of background. He's got his own kind of shit. He never had a proper family growing up. He lived in the care system, etc., etc. Now, that doesn't make him innocent. He has never gotten help. He's never done any of those things to help himself. Does he know I'm on the internet? Yeah. So, but is he a bad person? No. He did bad things. And I hope that he never does that to another woman. And I hope he gets better. And I hope one day he's happy. Will I ever get back with him? No. But for every one instance I can tell you about that I was hurt or he hurt me or I was scared, there was a million others where I was happy and I loved him. And we made a family together and a life together that unfortunately was broken by the worst times. But I definitely don't, I hate it when people make out that I'm some kind of victim or I'm vulnerable. I'm not. I'm strong as fuck. And at times I give back as good as I got. Not with violence, but like I stood up for myself. I would never take shit off anyone. And it's weird because I always said if ever I was cheated on, I would leave. And I was never cheated on. So I was kind of like, okay, this isn't that bad. But the violence literally kind of just wasn't as bad as me being cheated on for some reason in my own head. I think it's probably because I grew up in a house where my mum was cheated on by my stepdad 150 times and took him back. And I couldn't understand how she could do that and how she could be so weak. So I always told myself like, oh, I'll never be that weak. And I will always have a father for my children, the same man. I never wanted to move on. I never wanted to have several boyfriends or a stepfather for my children or move on. I wanted to be with this man forever. And so I stayed for a long time thinking we can fix this part. Like he's never cheated. He's never done this. He's never done that. So we'll be fine. But I just didn't look at the bigger picture at the time. That actually I was just as weak as my mum. That's the truth. I agree though, I'd rather be punched than cheated on. Yeah, Scouts, I literally felt like the domestic violence was something in our house that I could deal with and that we could probably get back from. If he had cheated, I would have been out. And that's really weird to say. That's how I felt. Hey, Alex, have you moved house? No, Daniel, I'm having a fucking awful time because I cut my internet off to move to the new house. Now they've changed the date again, but they haven't given me another date. So I've had to get the internet cut off at the new house, put it back here, which is going to take till Tuesday. And then I don't even know when we're moving. So I might move on Wednesday and have to do it all over again. Mental abuse is 100% worse, Ella, because it stays with you. Like, you know, like if you like stump your toe, right? When you stump your toe, it hurts for that time. And then it goes, right? And then you can't really remember, like I can tell you like I stubbed my toe, but I can't remember that fucking pain for that first time that you stump your toe and you're like, fuck. The mental abuse stays forever. There are times I look in the mirror now and I still call myself the names he called me. Okay. And it's one of the things I do, that self-deprecating thing where I talk about my weight all the time. Because the one thing he always used to say, you're a fat, lazy cunt, you're this, you're that, all the time. Yeah. And so those times I say that to myself in the head when I look in the mirror. I literally will look and be like, you are a fat, lazy cunt. There are lots of things that I'm trying to do because I know I make jokes about my weight and stuff all the time. And I know I have 3 beautiful girls that need to know how beautiful they are and how important it is. You know, there's lots of things, like it's so strange because he could be the nicest man in the world, right? And if any other man had ever said a damn thing about me, he would have knocked them clean out, okay? If anyone had ever hurt me, including my own family, he would have had my back 100%, but he could hurt me so much. And he could literally say things to me that was so cruel. And he could use my mental health against me, and he could use my taking medication, and he could text me from work saying you've got enough there to do it, and literally fuck with my head all the time when I was at my lowest. But at the same time, he would then become a hero again and be like, you know, everything's good on with your family. Like, I'm here. I've got you. I've got the kids. And that backwards and forwards of like, you're going to bed every night with your lover and your fucking killer. And that's how it is. And you lay there at night and you flinch because you hate him. At that moment, you're scared, but at the same time, you feel sad because he's not touching you. And you literally are in this place of just sheer, like, I don't know what to do and I don't know how to be. It felt so strange. Like, you want someone to love you so much. And you lie hyperventilate every day. Hyperventilate. And you live hyperventilate every day. It's the one thing I say, right, when people say to me, what's the one worst thing from DV? It's the walking on eggshells. It's the every time thing is so good, waiting for it to go back round to that cycle bit where you're going to get hurt and you're going to be put down and the name calling. Then you get back up to the top and it's so good. It's like being in the honeymoon phase again. But while you're in that honeymoon phase, you're waiting all the time, and you're constantly ducking, trying to get to a stage of like, and then it comes again. And when it comes again, it's kind of relief, like, right, it's here. So it's almost more comfortable. Thank you, Mel. It's almost more comfortable being in the part where it's toxic as fuck and it's back to like the bit you were waiting for. Because when you get round to that making up and you get back into the point where you're at a high, you're in that high and you're thinking it's coming to an end in a minute. Something's going to happen. I'm going to do the wrong thing. I'm going to say the wrong thing. You become so hypersensitive to doing the wrong thing. You fuck up a lot because you're just constantly like, argh.
The Observer, providing you with the latest TikTok drama from across the UK.